And for some reason, the Jedi decide that Anakin, the man who has expressed nothing but pure horniness for Senator Amidala, will be the man to escort her to her home planet.
Well, the Jedi Masters can't see his spawner.
Yep, it's Attack of the Clones, the second Star Wars film.
In chronologically.
No, ever made.
Ever made? Oh,
Ever
really?
made, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's not very well known, but George Lucas went back to the 1970s to make the sequels because nobody in the 2000s would give him money after Revenge of the Sith. We've just watched Attack of the Clones again.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I enjoyed it more than Phantom Menace. You know what's going on at all times. What's going on is really boring. But at least you know what's going on.
It's really boring and it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, remember that thing we were saying when the Tatooine planet cuts away to Geonosis?
Yeah.
And you can't tell. They look like exactly the same planet.
They are in the same...
They are completely indistinguishable from each other.
Yes.
The way they demonstrated CG Yoda to him was they digitally recreated the scene from The Empire Strikes Back when Luke first meets Yoda. And it's weird. It's really weird. And CG Yoda in this film is really weird.
It doesn't look very good.
It doesn't look good at all, I'd argue.
No. I'm not sure if we mentioned this last time, but you said Attack of the Clones has the best opening.
I completely take back what I said.
Right?
Oh my god, I can't believe if I did say that, I apologize to humanity. Then immediately you go to a meeting with the Jedi.
They don't even say who is trying to kill her other side of the scene.
They don't care who's trying to kill her, they just want to protect her. They're like, we're not here to find out who's doing this. Like, everyone thinks it's crazy when Anakin's like, we'll find out who's trying to kill you, Padme, and Obi-Wan's like, no, Anakin, we're not here to do that. And he's like, why not? And Obi-Wan's like, well, because that's not what we're here to do.
We're keepers of the peace,
not soldiers. A great line that definitely will hold true through this film.
Yeah.
And then, as they're leaving, Padme's like, oh yeah, I think Count Dooku did this. A guy we have never heard of.
Yeah, we haven't heard of him in the previous movie. In this movie, I think it's in the crawl.
This film, George makes the exact same mistake as Phantom Menace, which is not introducing his central villain until almost halfway through the film. In Phantom Menace, it's Darth Maul, who doesn't interact with our main characters until halfway through the movie, after Anakin has beaten the pod race.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And in this film, Dooku shows up at, I think we clocked it at an hour, 15 minutes.
15. Yeah.
An hour 15 into the movie, Obi-Wan sees Dooku for the first time. And the way he sees him isn't a close-up on Dooku with him walking menacingly through a hall. It's Obi-Wan is staring off to the left of screen, and Dooku walks past, and you see him for all of, I think, 3 seconds on screen. The thing that is really frustrating about this is that George Lucas introduced the most iconic villain of all time in the original Star Wars. Darth Vader, clad in black armor, walks out of a smoky, backlit set, and he is immediately identifiable as the bad guy. These films do a terrible job with their villains.
Yeah.
It's one of my biggest reasons why the movies don't work. Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan are assigned.
Oh, you really want to talk about
her.
this?
Yeah,
the first time you meet your heroes,
yes,
it's in an elevator.
An elevator,
right?
Having some banter.
And they... Oh, it's a maze window that says, oh, we'll have Obi-Wan and Anakin.
No, Palpatine suggests it.
Palpatine's
like, what if it was someone familiar to you? Like, young Master Kenobi.
Imagine if in that moment, it cuts to Obi-Wan and Anakin doing something extra cool.
Obi-Wan will be back tomorrow. He's on a diplomatic mission at the moment.
Yeah, and then you cut straight to Obi-Wan, like, running through a forest or something, and Anakin,
it's Star Trek
like,
2.
Running back, like, where were you guys? Like,
yeah,
I don't know, something
Star Trek
exciting
Into
like
Darkness.
that.
It's exactly what they do.
It's such a clear, like, way to introduce your main characters, but
Yeah.
instead...
Standing in an elevator.
Oh, yeah, so you said that elevator scene confirmed to be a reshoot.
100% confirmed to
So,
be a reshoot.
if that wasn't in the film, the first time we meet our characters, main characters, is by Jar Jar Binks walking up to Obi-Wan and Anakin and just shaking their hands. So something in that scene, before we go to the assassination attempt,
Yeah.
is that Obi-Wan throughout the whole scene is saying things like, "Oh, we're here to do our job. We're here to like
You will obey my orders.
you
my
will
young
obey my
Padawan."
orders, young Padawan."
And then Anakin's shooting back at him, and he's like, "No, Anakin, shut the fuck
Shut
up!
the fuck up!
We're in a meeting right
We're
now."
in a meeting right now. And then at the end, she says,
Anakin, your erection is pushing up the table.
Then Obi-Wan at the end of the scene, he says, "Yeah, he was pleased to see us." Like
She was pleased to see us.
she was pleased to see us, which is like this
Anakin,
is
Padme really thinks that you're something.
yeah, like Jesus
You
Christ.
might have a shot, my young Padawan.
That's like fucking throwing
then
throwing
yeah,
wind into the fire.
I know, he's throwing oil on a
Throwing killing.
raging teenage fire. This is very important. The Jedi sense something in the next
Anakin
room.
sense
Anakin, no, Obi-Wan says, "I sense it too."
Oh yeah.
They both sense it. They jump into the room. Anakin immediately cuts Padme's head off. So all of a sudden, Obi-Wan sees the droid outside the window.
He
He
jumps.
thinks, "I'm going to jump on that." And he launches himself through the window, catches the droid, and plummets to his death because the droid cannot support his weight. Yeah.
And then we have what the second worst action scene in the film, because there's a war scene in this film.
I would give it the worst. I think this scene is awful.
It's pretty bad.
George Lucas loves things going fast. He loves lots of dynamic action and movement.
Yes. So my theory is that George Lucas' favorite scene in the original must have been the spirit chase in Endor, in Jedi.
In Return of the Jedi, yeah.
Because he tries to replicate that same feeling in
all
each
his
of the
films.
prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this scene feels completely void of any kind of weight, any kind of tension.
We have 2 moments of characters falling over into another ship.
The assassin. Oh no, we're
forgot.
skipping over my
forgot.
favorite character from the film, Elaine Sleaze Bagano.
I wonder if he's sleazy. Okay.
Ah, you want to buy some death sticks? You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell the death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life. Great scene, great 10-second scene.
Fake
Well,
up.
the thing that sucks is that in the previous scene, you know that they can sense things in other rooms. So it should be pretty easy for them to sense, oh, there's a gun right there.
Oh yeah, and even worse than that is that Obi-Wan takes like half a second, maybe a second, to pull out his lightsaber and cut off the assassin's hand.
The assassin
and the assassin
has-
has her finger on the freaking trigger.
She has him at
She's
point
shoot.
blank range. She knows this is the guy that was... Actually, no,
Chasing
she
her.
doesn't.
It's
They
Jedi.
don't know that's
it's
so.
a
Oh no,
freaking
of
Jedi.
course, it's the one he jumped on the droid. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, they cut off the assassin's hand. They drag the assassin outside. They try to interrogate them. And by the way, these are mind-reading Jedis. They don't need to interrogate her. They can
But
just...
the use of the Force has been...
No, it isn't. They
Brilliant.
sense something in the other room in the previous scene.
Jango Fett shoots the assassin before...
In the neck with a tranquilizer dart.
Yeah, before he shoots...
Not a tranquilizer, a poison dart.
A poison dart.
Jango Fett has a rocket on his backpack.
But they could have just shot Obi-Wan or...
He could have easily killed them.
One of them, at
There's
least.
no reason not to kill them.
Yeah.
Also,
Stupid.
you made a good point that the whole reason this movie happens is because Jango Fett uses a highly traceable poison dart from the same planet he is staying on.
Yeah.
Now, I don't
So-
know much about assassins.
So the dart he uses is later identified by Dexter Yexter,
The greatest
the
character
greatest
in
character
Star Wars.
of any history of cinema.
Yeah. What cinema was invented for.
Yes.
The Lumiere brothers had a dream when they woke up and they thought, oh my god, it's a creature with 4 arms who runs a diner!
Dexter used to
Let's call Edison right now!
identifies that as being made in Camino,
Yeah.
or like it's from Camino.
This dart only comes from them
Why would a
cloners.
bounty hunter, assassin, or whatever use something that is that traceable?
And for some reason, the Jedi decide that Anakin, the man who has expressed nothing but pure horniness for Senator Amidala, will be the man to escort her to her home planet.
Well, the Jedi Masters can't see his spawner.
They go canoeing on like a beautiful river. Like they get taken in a gondola. Like they have beautiful lush fruit dinners. What did they think was gonna happen?
I think they wanted it to happen.
No!
So my point in Attack of the Clones is that if Anakin and Palpatine's relationship is one of the most important things about the prequels,
Why is the way that they're introduced?
they're introduced just talking to each other in this film. They don't have like a first meeting. Palpatine doesn't try to talk to him.
Anyway,
What happens with that?
What happens is that Palpatine says, I foresee you becoming the most powerful of all the Jedi, even more powerful than Master Yoda. And that's how the scene ends. That is the introduction of the main arc of all of these films, which is Anakin betraying Obi-Wan and the Jedi and joining forces with Palpatine.
Yeah.
It isn't set up at all in movie 1.
In Phantom Menace to say that boy is dangerous. Yeah.
And then in this film, they're like, yeah, he's dangerous, but yeah, he can chat with Palpatine, he can go off to Naboo with Padme, he's fine!
We'll send this Padawan, which is the same age as 5 years younger or whatever.
Who has expressed openly that he has a deep love for her.
Yes. Let's send him to protect her.
On this beautiful
On
planet.
this beautiful planet that is really romantic. Oh my god.
You can eat pears together and frolic.
Do we want to talk about that scene?
Well, yeah, the whole reason that all evil happens in the Star Wars universe is because Jar Jar Binks is appointed her successor.
Oh, that's right. And
Yeah.
it just happens in the background of a shot, like...
Jar Jar, I'm counting on you. Okay, Padme, I promise I won't give anyone supreme power over the universe! Yeah, all the Star Wars universe depends on Padme Amidala giving Jar Jar Binks power to vote in the Senate.
Why isn't Grande being, like, still in prison?
Why does he
free?
still have an army?
Why is he free? Why does he still have
He
an army?
illegally occupied a bloody... Can you imagine if Hitler invaded Poland and then, like, the Allies defeated him easily before he got any further, and then 10 years later he invaded Poland again? Like, what? Then we get the most important scene in the whole movie.
In any movie.
Yeah.
The Dexter affair.
No, excuse me. The Dexter Jetster Diner.
Oh,
Doesn't that just roll off the tongue? What movies were made for? And Obi-Wan is greeted by Flo, the waitress.
How do you know that name? Like
Flo. It's Flo. It's just Flo, you know.
But they
it's
never
Flo.
said her name in the film.
I have never memorized so much about a movie I hate. So Obi-Wan goes to Dexter, puts the dart down. Within 2 seconds, Dex is like, "Oh yeah, this is from Camino. It's from Camino. It's from this very specific planet, and all they do on this planet is clone people. Why do they develop poison darts?
Why would he use a dart that traces him back there?
Yeah,
Like,
he's a terrible
so
bounty
stupid.
hunter.
Why does Jester know what Camino is?
Dexter Jetster is a clone. He had his arms cloned twice. That's the only thing that makes sense. Obi-Wan goes to Master Yoda, the wisest of all the Jedi, who is training young children.
So we have to talk about the greatest character in this film.
Dexter Jetster.
The second greatest character.
Oh, Liam.
So, Yoda is like...
Liam, lower
Liam.
the blinds.
Lower the blinds.
Well, Liam, what a great name.
And it's
for a
just
Star Wars
Liam.
universe.
His name
Hey, to be
is
fair,
Liam.
it's not far from Luke.
If you're a kid and you're in a class and you say something smart, you're excited about it because you thought about it before everyone else. You're like, because someone deleted it from the
I got
archives, maybe? And then Yoda's
You're
be like,
impressing
oh,
Master
well
Yoda.
done. 8
5
for
points
you,
to
5 points for Gryffindor. Right? Or something like that. And but I mean, and
Yeah.
the kid is like super happy or something. But no, instead it's like, because someone deleted it from the archives. And it's like, oh my god.
Oh, why didn't I think of that? You know what you do if you're Obi-Wan? You go back to the library and you arrest Jocasta Nu. Like, who else erased it? It's never said in the movie that Dooku did it.
It's never said who does it.
No, it's never said who does. It's never said who pays for the clone army. Now, there is one moment in this conversation that I think Hayden Christensen actually delivers a line well.
Oh yeah, it's really funny.
It's actually really good, and I think it was one of the moments they came up with together, where Padme's like, "You really don't like politicians, do you, Anakin?" And he's like, "I like 2 or 3 of them, but one of them I'm not so sure about." And for a brief second, you get to
That's
see
really funny.
him being funny, and you get to see him being, like, happy, and you get to see him being, like, a scoundrel. Imagine if that was his attitude through the whole film, instead of just mopey. So, everybody says that they love, you in fact, said that you love the Obi-Wan stuff because it's like a detective movie, right? You said
I
that.
changed
You
my
said,
mind.
yeah,
I changed my
right.
mind.
Obi-Wan, if this was a detective
He's such
movie,
a fucking dumbass.
he is so dumb! He arrives at the Kaminoans planet and he's like, "Oh, there's an army?"
There's an army, and then they say that there is a bunny hunter in there.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that just happens to be
they're cloned by the bunny hunter. It's like, but there is a culprit, fucking Obi-Wan. Just go and get him.
Yeah, so Obi-Wan goes to Jango Fett's room and they have a conversation. Also, why are they using Jango Fett? It's never said in the film.
Nope.
It's never said at all.
Don't ask me.
We see him kill 1 Jedi in the film.
A really bad Jedi.
Obi-Wan is talking to Jango Fett.
He's literally looking at the armor.
The armor is wide open in the cupboard.
When Jango Fett walks away, Obi-Wan's still looking at it.
He knows it's there. He knows this is the guy.
Why doesn't he just say, "You're under arrest"?
For some reason, he goes and talks to the other Jedi, and they finally admit that maybe they can't use the Force anymore.
No,
And they
can't-
completely glide over it.
Yeah.
Our ability to use the Force has been diminished.
Yeah.
Not our ability to read
But in the previous
minds.
scene, Anakin could use the Force to lift things.
Yeah.
And then after that scene, Anakin...
On
Obi-Wan,
Coruscant, they've already used the Force.
and then
several times.
Obi-Wan, it's like using the Force to when he's fighting Django. So it's like... It's
Yoda
not the
used the
use of the Force.
Yoda uses the Force
use
a
of,
lot
like,
when he fights Dooku.
It's the use of like detecting shit, I guess.
Yeah, but they do it on Coruscant at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Were you saying that these movies don't make sense? Impossible.
Literally, all it had to be was that Palpatine could hide from the Force.
Django and Obi-Wan fight.
Oh, I was going to skip it.
Which I was like... I said earlier that it was one of my favorite fights, and then I saw it again. I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah, watching these films is like, I remember these good moments, and then you're like, oh wow, they're not
Wait,
that
no,
good.
they're not.
Yeah.
But like, I like the idea of like a guy with a pistol fighting a Jedi.
Yeah, it's like the best part of Rogue One.
What do you mean the massacre?
Yeah.
That's not a fight. That's a
Yeah, it's
massacre.
great.
And then we get to Byron's favorite scene again. The asteroid scene at the end, in the middle of the film.
Yeah, the asteroid scene that everybody loves to this day for
Which is
no
fucking
reason.
shit.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's a terrible action
There's
scene.
no tension. There's nothing.
There's nothing. Like, there's that sound effect.
There's
The
sound
bit
effects.
of the mic. Back on Tatooine.
We get a really cool scene. Not Uncle Owen and stuff. That's dull.
I was going to say, where's the CGI in these? And then I remember the 3PO is CGI.
Yeah. That's right. There's
I
no blue
believe-
milk. There's no blue milk.
No, it's iced tea. It's
It's
literally
iced tea.
just Lipton iced tea that they poured into cups. Because George was trying to save money.
And then Anakin goes and save his mother.
Who has been kidnapped by the
And
Tusken
there's,
Raiders.
and there's a cool scene in there.
Anakin goes, and John Williams plays Duel of the Fates, and it's so amazing. And Anakin is racing by the twin suns. It's an iconic moment of these movies.
And there's one
And
of
I
the,
completely had forgotten about it.
one of the most beautiful shots in the film.
That holds for a good while.
Yeah, which is the silhouette of Anakin talking to a Jawa.
With what looks like a real sky scene behind them that is moving.
And then
It's beautiful.
And then the background, the ships.
You've got the sandcrawlers.
The Sandcrawlers in the background look pretty damn good.
Yeah.
They look fucking great.
Yeah, it looks like a good movie.
Yeah, and then it cuts to an awful shot.
Of Geonosis, which looks like Tatooine.
Which looks like Tatooine, like I
Yeah, it's
mentioned earlier.
impossible to tell.
Anakin admits to Padme that he murdered everyone.
A scene that could have easily been handled better with Anakin not wanting to talk about his grief.
Yeah.
And Padme trying to get him to admit that he's hurt and that he's sad and
That's
that it's okay for him to cry.
That's all you need.
It's an easy scene. It's a very simple scene to act. And all Padme should do is go up, hug him from behind and say, there's nothing you could have done. It's okay. I'm here for you. And he should just fucking cry. Like, just let him cry. Let him be sad. Instead, he becomes insane.
Oh, he's just screaming.
He just starts
About murder.
screaming about how he should be all powerful. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to show why he'll fall in the next movie. But save that for the next movie. This is the one scene that tries to explain what's going on in these movies.
And it was Richard.
And Christopher Lee flat out tells him, what if I told you there was a Dark Lord in charge of the Republic? And Obi-Wan's like, no, that's impossible. The Jedi would have sensed it. He's like, no, shut up. Listen to me.
Impossible.
The Jedi have been fooled by a Sith Lord who at this moment is in charge of the Republic. You might say a supreme leader.
Then,
He's like, oh, you mean Palpatine's a Sith Lord?
then he cuts to Palpatine laughing like... and then he cuts back to the scene. That's literally the scene, right?
Yeah, that's literally what happens. Palpatine walks in and everyone's like, no!
And then it's a tan.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my
That's
God.
exactly what happens in the film.
Oh man, like, it's so silly. Jar Jar Binks dooms the
Oh
entire
yeah,
galaxy.
Jar Jar dooms the entire universe.
It's great.
And
so
it's
good.
it's great because everyone just agrees instantly. There's no voting, again, there's no voting or anything. They just agree with it. It's great.
Anakin and Padme get captured and taken to a coliseum next to
You forgot the
Obi-Wan.
best action scene in the whole film.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
And then we get to the set piece of the whole movie, the Colosseum scene. And we have the Reek, the Akli, and the dog, which name I don't know.
You mean the boring one? It's kind of boring.
It's fun to see them work without lightsabers, though.
Yeah, but still boring.
So,
And then
good
Mace
music.
Windu just
Shows up.
shows up with the 100 Jedi.
Yep. And then
5 minutes later,
and
they all die.
Mace Windu shows up with 100 Jedi. The Separatists show up with 1,000 droids. And then Yoda shows up with 1,000 clones. It's
10,000
like boom, boom, boom.
clones.
You've got no time to see like what's interesting about the battle. Dooku escapes. The war has completely broken
Somehow-
out. Somehow he escapes.
He escapes, then the huge battle happens, and then Obi-Wan and Anakin go and fight Mace Windu.
No, fight Count Dooku.
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
this is what happens when you stop
Anakin-
2 hours over this stupid film.
There is no moment in the fight where they fight together. Anakin is immediately electrocuted. Obi-Wan gets his leg sliced very tenderly and delicately.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
not just
it's
have
pretty
why not
boring.
just have Dooku get away? Why not have that be the end of the movie?
Because they have to have a fight. It's
but
Star
he gets
Wars.
away anyway. Yeah, I know. Yoda shows up.
Yeah.
I have seen reactions. I actually remember when I saw it in theaters, people went apeshit for this scene. People thought it was the coolest thing ever.
I still think it's dumb.
Also, Yoda is weirdly war hungry at this point in the movie. And immediately after this scene, you're going to see Yoda be like, this was not a victory. Like, we're at war now. Do you understand how bad this is? Before that, Yoda's like, oh yeah.
Oh, good. Very good. You defeated
Concentrate fire at the innocent civilians.
Well,
Use white phosphorus.
man, all of those children. Oh, that's a great scene in the film.
Amazing scene.
Pretty good scene where Palpatine doesn't look like Dick Cheney at all.
No, he doesn't look anything like Dick Cheney. For legal purposes, he looks nothing like Dick Cheney.
Yes.
At some point in the movie, Dooku says, how could the Republic have found an army so quickly? I don't know, because your boss organized it? Like, we know that you know about the planet because your bounty hunter stayed there. What? The guy who you employed is literally the surrogate for all of these clones. Mm-hmm. You know these clones exist.
He must be lying, right?
He must be lying. But why is he lying to all of the villains? There's no reason.
I don't know.
It makes no sense. Okay.
I'm getting tired.
Do you think this is better than Phantom still?
Yes, 100%. Count Dooku has a conversation with Obi-Wan, so they have feeling towards each other.
Definitely wasn't a reshoot.
They care about, like, they know who each other is.
Yeah.
So the fight at the end has a bit more sense. Darth Maul.
A slightly bit more sense.
Do I have to say anything about Darth Maul? How shit that character is?
What are you talking about? The greatest character of all time in Star Wars.
Yeah, he was like,
so much depth.
He was like,
why
one
do people
shot.
love Darth Maul so much? It's just the makeup, right?
It's the music.
And the lightsaber.
It's the music.
It's the music. It's all the music.
It's just the music. What would you rate Clone?
Clones, I think I rated a 6.
Attack of the Clones?
Yeah. Gave it a 6.
6?
Gave it a 6, yeah. And you said Attack of the Clones is a 1.
No, I said Attack of the Clones is 3.
3 is way too harsh.